Hey, what's going on, people? It's your blind buddy, man. Uh, I come here today, man. I got some good news and I got some bad news. I'm gonna start out with the good news first. You know, uh, the good news is you're gonna live forever. That's the good news. And there's people out here in the world that know I know what I'm talking about. Everybody, there's people that'll say, "Man, I'm gonna live forever." You got the young people to do it. Man, I'm gonna live forever. They believe this. They know, yeah, you right. That's a fact. You're gonna live forever. That's the good news. That's why the gospel of Jesus Christ, people talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's the good news. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever shall believe shall not perish, but have everlasting life. That's the good news. And it's true, you know. And I feel privileged to be able to express that and tell people that good news. Now, see, that's why people they get it misconstrued because, oh my goodness, here comes the bad news. The bad news is you're gonna live forever. The bad news is the same as the good news. The bad news is you're gonna live forever. You know, you're gonna live forever. How is it good and bad news? Well, the bad part about living forever, see, the way you run around in this world, in this fleshly realm, in your flesh, and the things that you do in your flesh don't live forever, but you do. That's where a lot of people get misconstrued. You don't know that in order to live forever, there has to be a part of you that's capable of doing something. You know what I mean? That's the good news. There's a part of you that's capable of living forever. And for all of those that think that this is a play on words, no, this is not a play on words. This is true and actual and factual. It's just telling you the truth about what you misconstrue and misunderstand. The good news is that you're going to live forever. And as well as the bad news, you're going to live forever. You understand what I'm saying? Now, because of what you do in the part that don't live forever, you're going to live forever. People don't understand. You may not understand that. But the forever comes along with the knowledge of knowing that God so loved the world that you are running around in your flesh tearing up. He loved the world. He so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. The Word. In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was God. And the Word was with God. So the Word, God kept it from the very start and let you know that it don't matter what you do, no matter how you say it, God has the cap on the word. It don't matter. Anything that you say is a word. If it's understandable, it's a word, even if it's gobbledygook. You know what I mean? It's gobbledygook is a word if you can spell it. But if it's not a word of God, then God reserves the right to throw said word out because it's not a word of his. You understand what I'm saying? So God put the cap on the word from the start. So those that like to manipulate words, when you come down to what sentence structure and everything is, one letter or one word will change the whole structure of a whole thing. And there's people that try to play with the word, but the word belongs to God. Ain't no misconstruction of life evermore. It's the misunderstanding of what that consists of that gets us in the wrong place of life. Those that say, well, you accept the good news, I'm gonna live forever. It don't mean that you get to run around in your flesh and do all acts of ungodliness and expect to live in a godly fashion once your flesh ceases to exist. It's not how that works. Your soul will live on forever. Life is forevermore. If you know what life is spelled Life. If you look at life and what it actually says to you, it's living in forever, evermore. Life. That's life. Evermore means it will always be. It's your choice as to how much knowledge you gain in respect of how to live in life evermore. You know what I mean? You've been told that it's not going to be in the flesh because the word says flesh and blood, neither flesh nor blood shall enter into the kingdom of God, which is a realm of spirit, because God is a spiritual God. God is the spirit of which all life comes from. It ain't the flesh. Flesh ain't did nothing but spit out some matter that don't even matter. You know what I mean? At the end, only part that matters is the bubbling and gurgling sounds it makes in conversation. You know what I mean? Soup lets you know it's ready by the way it bubbles and gurgles. You know what I mean? If you don't understand the communication of what soup will let you know when it's ready for you to consume it, then you'll burn it up. You understand what I mean? People don't, if I'm too deep, then guess what? You better get you a shovel and learn how to dig. Get you some vitamins and learn how to dig longer. You know? Because truth will always be found. It don't matter if you don't dig for it, it's always around.
Right?
You know?
Whether you do looking for it or not.
Yeah,
it's
whether you
still
look,
there.
the truth is there. Truth be known, although truth ain't always seen. You know what I mean? It's knowledge. It's lack of knowledge that'll destroy you. You know what I mean? You can see a bus run you over. But if you understand life, that bus just sent you over. You know what I mean? But if you didn't have no knowledge before you got hit by said bus, then you ain't gonna have knowledge of what to do after that. And this you can trust. Because if you wasn't seeking the life that God made for us in abundance, then you would never be able to live it because you never learned how to do or live or take in instruction from how to do so. The instruction of life is God instructing us on what we would need to do to live in His house. That's certain that He's telling us how to do so. When you got that relationship, then just like if you got a separation between, you're a child of divorce. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna use that as an example. You stay with your mother, but you go see your father. You know what I mean? You go visit your father. Now, before your father, your daddy, like, hey, before you come to my house, there's gonna be some things that you need to understand because you don't live with me. You live with your mama. There's some things in my house that you ain't gonna be able to do here that you do at your mama's house. There's some things I ain't gonna tolerate.
Right.
When you come in my house, you're gonna see my house is plush. I'm gonna let you see it before you even go in there, and let you decide how you need to come in there. So when you see my house, if you think you supposed to just trample up in there and you got boots, nasty boots on, don't be surprised if I smack the shit out you because you starting out stupid already. You don't see that my house is clean and you don't understand that you dirty. I got to smack you before you dirty up my house because you ain't got sense enough to realize that dirt will not fit in a place of cleanliness. Those that are willing to understand, they paying attention to the instruction being given before we arrive at said house. You know what I mean? Those that want to be rambunctious and rowdy and say, well, they going to do whatever they want to, don't be mad when daddy strap that belt off and tie your behind up for thinking that you're going to do what you want to in his house. You get too big for your pants, guess what? You don't get to ride in the car, you can go to the house. You go out on your own because you too grown. You know what I mean? You want some down to the good news. Hey, the good news is you'll live forever. The Father said you can live here forever if you want that. But you're going to have to understand these rules in order to do so. You don't come up in here acting like we're in filthy, dirty flesh. And we got to become clean in our soul. Our soul has to be cleansed from what the dirty, nasty, filthy flesh will allow us to think that our soul will be able to go in the Father's house and do. Your soul will never arrive in a place of cleanliness with following the ways of a dirty flesh, or a dirty mind of a flesh. Flesh is stupid in the manner of which it thinks it will still try to inhabit a place where it knows it will never be able to get to. Look at what it attempts in its mimicry of what actually does. When it's shown, it's proven, hey, you can't go no further than that. And they'll still try. Even down to the point to where they'll try to trick your mind into making you think that that's what they're doing. Yeah. Down to the point to where they putting brain chips in the back of your head to give you the illusion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Letting you live in a euphoria in the flesh. A euphoria in the flesh is not something you can see. In the mimicry of it don't last because you constantly running around seeking that same blast. That's why you end up on drugs. The mimicry of the euphoria of the life that you wish you could live. You know? In the flesh, you can only go halfway. And if you keep orchestrating the things that and demonstrating the things you do to continue on in said euphoria, then you just creating a hole for yourself in robbery, stealing, murdering, killing, and all in the chase of a euphoria. That will never last because it's only in the flesh that you enjoy.
Right.
You don't know how to live in the spirit even though you chase the spirit. You're chasing the wrong spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you're drinking, getting drunk, and the word tells us there's a reason you don't become consumed with strong drink, because on the stores in this world, they put on the window what they selling. They selling wine and spirits. Mm-hmm. Why do you got to separate the two? Wine, does wine not have spirits in it? It's the separation of the spirits. We got wine, which is of a good thing, a good spirit. And then you got spirits. Ain't no telling what's in them. So when you ingest and consuming strong drink, you're consuming spirits of which you don't know what they're gonna do. So they give you a level of euphoria at the particular time, which is only temporary until you find that in the flesh you've been running blind. It gets multiple people round around the clock every time, until you realize in the truth and fact that you've been running around not as a light, but you've been running in the back. Don't be surprised if God slapped you and said, when you hit the back of darkness, you can turn around and come back. My friend, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, that's a hard smack. Mm-hmm. If he end up smacking you and telling you that when you hit the backside of darkness, you can turn around and come back. You know, don't look for that to be no time soon. So, man, I get on here and I'm going to tell you, man, you know, that the spirit is alive and the spirit is always well. It's just how well we're going to take the spirit that keeps us well. And if you ain't willing to take it as it comes to you, then that's a sickness that you need an operation on. You know, you need to be operated on if the medicine don't do you no good. You know, you got to go deeper down off into your epiduris and find out what's keeping your soul and not allowing your soul to flourish.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like I said, I'm your blind buddy, man. I don't care how you captivate it, how you evaluate it. Just know it's coming here and it's all consolidated. It's down to so many parts that you have to put together to try to see the complete picture. This right here coming out and let you know, blind buddy here with you. I don't even see you, don't even know who you are. You know, I'm only trying to get all of us in a place where we can be calling the stuff. Yeah, I pray for the soul. I know you don't know me, but you know I pray for all our souls that God give us a second chance. You understand me? Mm-hmm. And that's where, you know, if you don't realize you need one, then be grateful that somebody know you do.
Right.
So if you can't see that as compassion, then because you can't get past the offensive nature of your own behavior, which is being expounded on. People nowadays, they don't try to change the definition of racism, make it look like anybody that talks against a behavior, a bad behavior, they want to call you racist. They want to redefine racism now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is coming from the woke generations of unknowledgeable people that have no knowledge. They just run around expounding on what they think, and because they've been given the right to think what they want, and now the world is expected to live by what they think, and rather than people putting them in their place and telling them, look, you wrong. Everybody want to enable them and pat them on the back and sing them a love song. Get your ass over there in the corner, sit down and shut up, you know what I mean? Somebody need to be that sound and that abrupt. We don't have nobody that's strong enough to want to do it because all the little whiny babies won't let them pursue it. Sometimes daddy have to tighten up that ass. And he don't give a damn who in the house. Somebody finna get whooped, and it's gonna get whooped fast. You know what I mean? You get in the way if you want it, you're gonna catch some of them blows. Cause this is where the ass whooping comes, and to the one it's gonna go. You know what I mean? That's what the world missing. That's what it's got is bubbling in the wrong direction, making the soup stink. You know what I mean? Somebody done put some funk in the soup. Now it's bubbling and gurgling outrageously. A foul odor that makes the whole place look like it ain't even inhabitable because of what somebody thinks with their woke ideas or what somebody should accept in their foul behaviors and their wretched ways. And the ones that enable them, you'll know better. You want to call yourself godly, but you won't stand up against evil. You sit there and support it and enable it that it may continue on. And then you think God is going to shine upon you and smile upon you for supporting the very thing that he tells us not to. And you want to call it compassion. You want to see compassion. It's the very thing that keeps you from hearing what I got to say. Because this is compassion. And when compassion comes in its true form, you don't like it because it's got an element of truth in there that involves you that you ain't willing to accept or turn away from in order to receive the life that's coming to you as a result of accepting it. You know, and instead you want to ostracize, ad-lib and try to make it look as if I'm meaning some kind of harm when I'm only telling the truth. It's up to you whether you want to or not. It ain't going to affect my life evermore at all. You know, I know my destiny, and it ain't no man here is in charge of it. So there it is there, man. Blind Buddy on the reel, on the way out. That's what I'm doing every day. That's what it's all about. Staying in the spirit is where I truly want to live. Through this flesh, ain't shit I got to give. So there ain't nothing you can think about me that's going to affect me in a manner to where my soul is going to not pursue life evermore. So you can hate this flesh all you want to. They hated when God himself come down here and the flesh was hated. If it's got any good in it or any truth, the flesh ain't no good down here on this earth. And you can believe that, dude. Blind Buddy out.